Raycon. Hey, you know that horrifying children's movie Coraline that was based off of the book that wasn't even supposed to be for children? How about we make a doll series that looks like that? That's a good idea. A ragdoll-inspired doll series, LalaLoopsy released in 2010. Originally released as Bitty Buttons, the name was changed shortly after launch. LalaLoopsy is a series of dolls that's very on-again, off-again. Originally released 8 dolls for the mainline 13-inch dolls. The real moneymaker was LalaLoopsy Minis, where it's just the doll designs but small. They made the silly hair dolls as a gimmick, but they're significantly more minis than the 13-inch dolls. They made LalaLoopsy Littles, which are supposed to be the little sisters to the 13-inch dolls. I guess they were just trying to make them in all sizes and figure out what sold best. In 2009, prior to the release of LalaLoopsy, Moxie Girls was just starting out. A character from LalaLoopsy was included as a small toy accessory teasing the LalaLoopsy release. But when I said the series is on again, off again, I mean they have a release of the dolls for several years, and then they just kind of do nothing for a couple more years, and then there's more dolls. There's a good reason for this, though. MJ was doing several different dolls during these years, and they were probably trying to shift attention toward Project MC Squared or the LOL Surprise toys that were coming out during this time, but that's only a surface level situation when that's not actually the real reason why they're trying to shift attention away from LalaLoopsy, and I'll tell you why, and why they took a pause in 2014 in just a second. After the original large dolls, they released the mini series, the silly hair gimmick dolls, actual plush versions they called soft dolls, which I thought was what the dolls were supposed to be. When I saw the commercial, my tiny pea brain just assumed that they were supposed to be the same as Raggedy Ann dolls, the same material. They're supposed to be made out of cloth, but they're all plastic. Imagine my surprise. The little sister, called Littles, which were basically just clones of the original dolls, but shrunk down. Now, the reason they're making so many different versions and variations is for a few reasons. First, it keeps it fresh so that kids keep wanting it. That's the obvious one. But also, it creates several different price points. So there's several different entryways in order to get into LalaLoopsy, depending on your family's financial situation. It seems like they're just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks, but in reality, there's actually more thought behind it. With blind boxes growing in popularity, they also jumped on that and made the Micro series, where the designs were actually varied greatly and was customizable. As a play on words, they released the LalaOopsies spin-off, where they made them look like me. A mistake. After they managed to create several different price points in 2013, they started appealing to different typical kinds of toys: ponies, pets, and babies. And in 2014, things got sort of weird. They decided to shift to a high school setting where they were spaghettified with creepy long limbs. If they weren't creepy enough, they made them creepier. They were probably thinking that since middle school in America is 3 years, and it had been about 3 years since the initial release of LalaLoopsy, they'd make a version where the toys were going into high school because the kids were going into high school. And it's a good idea on the surface, but I think they missed the mark with the execution. They changed the design enough to where they don't look familiar anymore. It deviated too much from the original design. And just to make sure they didn't go into the red, they released Tinies, which isn't the blind bag thing. These were just sets of toys you could get. Then after 2014, things just kind of went dark with LalaLoopsy, probably because the 2014 release of dolls was pretty underwhelming, and it was better for them to take a step back from LalaLoopsy and rethink their approach. I'm you 2 minutes into the future from a parallel universe. Only 2 minutes? Wait, what's that in your ear? We don't got that in my universe. Oh, these? No, these are Raycon's everyday earbuds. They're half the price of other premium audio brands. They give me 8 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, and they're noise isolating, which makes them perfect for when I'm reading. They're also great when I tweak out from eating too many pixie sticks and starting to get a sugar rush. They just don't fall out of my ears. Wow, that's really cool. Do they have a variety of colors and patterns with a array of fit options? Yeah, they do, and they have a 30-day free return policy. What is that all over your face? Oh, right. So you know that rod you found on the sidewalk that made your hands tingle that you put in the microwave? Yeah. So that was actually highly volatile uranium. Hey, I'm gonna make popcorn. You guys want any? No! Click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/negativelegend for 15% off your order. In 2017, they got a Netflix series to revamp the franchise, featuring some original and new characters, along with a slightly different art style. Did I skip over a few LalaLoopsy iterations? Yes, I did. But that's only because there's a lot to cover about this franchise, and also they're not that important. From the doll's release all the way through 2015, they released webisodes for kids to watch. Webisodes has been a tried and true method for MGA and other doll franchises. The boom of the internet and its popularity with kids and teenagers drew the attention of a lot of companies, realizing that it was a perfect method to directly appeal to their target demographic. The webisodes are legitimately set up like a kid's show. They have some asides where the characters talk to the audience, and the characters sound like they're actual children.
Can I borrow your skis? Sure. Why? So I could go skiing, of course.
There were hour-long special movies using the same animation style as the webisodes, like The Search for Pillow and a So Magical Tale. In 2013, there was a LalaLoopsy animated series that aired on Nick Jr., and Viacom, the company that owns Nickelodeon, sued MGA, claiming that MGA didn't provide proper financing for the advertising and production of the series. And if you know MGA, that is not a big surprise. They always seem to be in legal trouble. They're either dishing out lawsuits or they are attracting lawsuits like nobody's business. They even sued Louis Vuitton for literally no reason. I have a short on it. The Nick Jr. show had a higher animation quality, but they also changed the voice actors, so now they don't actually sound like little kids anymore.
Let's move on, shall we?
Frankly, after that lawsuit, you can only really find clips of it online. The full episodes are available on Amazon and iTunes. And honestly, it's kind of sad how MGA really screwed over the show. What's even more surprising is the fact they haven't been sued into bankruptcy, but that's beside the point. After the slip-up with the Nickelodeon series, they continued to make online content and animated movie tie-ins for their new doll releases and spin-offs, all of which featuring the newest doll and gimmick. And during this time, we did get movie releases in 2015, but there was nothing going on in 2016. The thing I always liked is how their whole world looks like it's handmade, like a DIY channel's dream. The trees are sewn, the fence is popsicle sticks, it's adorable. Anyway, 2017, LalaLoopsy came back with the Netflix series, lasting 26 episodes, smashed together into 13 episodes, and only one season. The Netflix series is where we introduce the new character, Storm E. Sky, and she's a rocker, and I gotta be honest, the music isn't all that bad. It's actually kinda good.
No, I don't think it needs more cowbell.
Literally no kid watching this would get that reference. That is obviously for the adults.
You're gonna want that cowbell.
Stormy rolls in and kinda screws up their plans for the opening of LalaLoopsy Land. She's a cool, go-with-the-flow kinda girl.
Stormcloud, how's it coming?
Oh yeah, surprise, Sam Vincent is in this show, the voice of Lloyd from Ninjago.
A ninja never quits.
He was also Arrow in Stormhawks, that of which I did a video of, which you should probably watch, please, thank you. Jewel doesn't like the cool kid in town feeling like she's creating a rift between her and her friends. The setup of the characters reminds me a lot of My Little Pony. Each character has one titular personality trait, and their designs are extremely colorful and saturated, and it's also animated in what looks to be Flash, so it's really hard not to compare it. It also helps that it has the same voice actors from MLP.
Measurable changes to the audio frequencies, which in
The worst character is Dot, the super smart smarty pants character.
Zebra now resembles one Equuscabalus. And I just thought he looked like a horse.
Yes, I used the scientific name. Aren't I just so scientific? You could have just kept it to where she invents a bunch of stuff, and it would have been better. Less is more in this situation. It's pretty obvious they were basing this show off My Little Pony, since it not only has the same vibe, but basically every episode has a small little song, and it's all topped off with a lesson for the kiddos. That way it's educational. Wait, you have a smart character like Twilight, a baker like Pinkie Pie, a cool kid like Rainbow Dash, a selfish princess like Rarity. The only one you're missing is Fluttershy. And Applejack. I forgot about Applejack. How did I forget about Applejack? That's 4 out of 6, and that's my rating for this show. The show is actually pretty good. It's cute. It's a show where if I put it on for my nephews to watch, I wouldn't be upset watching it with them. But I don't think it's something I'd go out of my way to watch it myself unless I was a pretty hardcore fan. The songs are well done though. It's a bit of a bummer how the show is actually solid, but I haven't really seen anyone talking about it. It's a well-polished show. Some dolls that they made were considered a little controversial, like Yuki Kimono, which I don't think it's a problem having a geisha girl doll. The only issue is the name. Naming someone after their clothes especially his historically relevant clothing. It just seems a little rude to a certain degree. That'd be like naming Native American after the feather headdress. Oh, wait a minute, they did. They did collaborate with Red Cross to promote blood donations, so at least they had some positive PR. But let's actually take a look at the dolls and see where they stand today. I got Storm E-Sky and the little sister, Rain E-Sky. I actually like this a lot. They're so small. They look kind of like Funko Pops when they're small. All right, number one, let's talk about the packaging. I know it's a weird thing for a doll review to start with the packaging, but they did it kind of neat to where you're supposed to be able to open everything from the back. They have a perforated back where you can pull it back, and you cut out all the pieces to where you can just remove the entire plastic insert and the doll out. So that you can keep the entire box as the house, as the mini playset that it's supposed to be. That's clever. But another thing that they did was, and this is only for the full-size dolls, not for the littles, not for little sisters, but they have this craft paper kit with printed paper stuffs where you can just fold things in the right way and it will create a new piece of furniture. So that's cute. This is awesome for me because I grew up printing off a bunch of paper craft stuff and making all my favorite little characters into little cubic paper craft people. But yeah, it just creates a little 3D model. That's awesome. Oh, and this is supposed to be a little terrace that goes, right here, little insert. So they made the box and the packaging into its own toy. This is smart. This is cool. It's effective. I can't get this in here. My cat is rubbing against my leg again. Molly, why do you have to do this to me? Now that's only for the big dolls. That's only for the full size. She's about 12 inches. So maybe she's like 11 inches if you don't include the hair. That's dumb. These are definitely Playline dolls. You can definitely tell these are Playline dolls. You're just holding it by the head and the leg, all the limbs kind of move a little bit. Kind of like a rag doll. Honestly, I kind of like that. A cute little thing. It's a little awkward, but on their butt, they have the date they were sewn or born. There is no way these will stand up on their own, period. So you cannot display these unless they're just sitting down. And even then it's a little iffy because the head is so heavy. This is the densest piece of plastic of this entire toy. The limbs, there's not really any articulation other than for the socket, the arm shoulder joint, but the arms are very flexible. So that's what you should be expecting for Playline toys from MGA. They typically do this. It's becoming more and more common for there to be flexible plastic because kids, they break things. And the legs are also a little bit flexible, not quite as flexible. The shoes are removable, as they should be. The clothes are removable. They got the back. It's all one unit, like it's all one dress. There's not a lot of individual details. I do like how Stormy's jacket has tiny little gold buttons on them, for the, not really a lapel. Is it a lapel? You know, it's a teeny little detail that's nice. It's made out of actual like cloth and some like that pleather-like material and this tinsel for the dress. You can see the glue line along the hairline. Like the glue's kind of seeping out. The details in the back of the hair where it's all braided, and that's satisfying. Gonna start me an ASMR channel. Honestly, the sculpt, I like the sculpt a lot. I like it a whole lot. Everything that is supposed to be stitched in is all molded plastic. The buttons aren't coming out. This face is just painted. The cheeks are not coming out. The shoes have a lot of detail in them, like a bunch of stitching designs, some buckles, a little stitched in lightning bolt, and the bottom has little hearts on them with left and right to show the kids which one it goes on, even though I'm sure a lot of kids don't know their lefts from their rights. And you can make them do the can-can. Hey, boom, ding, 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 ding. Everyone say hello to Molly. I have a cat. I have a cat that likes me, and it's annoying, and I'm not sure I like it. And when she annoys me, I annoy her by picking her up. She doesn't like, she's not a very social cat. I'm allergic to cats. Now, everyone comes with a little pet, and here's Cat, which is just a solid piece of plastic. Sealed plastic around a second piece. And you know, cute little stitching designs. Not really a lot you can do with it. Sorta, it stands up on its own, at least that's something. Now let's look at Rainy, the carbon copy of Stormy. They got it stitched on their butt when they were sewed. 26. Oh, that's the day. The clothes, I have to admit, are a moderately higher quality because they actually have a sewn-in lightning bolt for like the suspenders. Sadly, with the back of the head, you're not gonna get that asthma because it doesn't have the same texture. Also, the mold for the hair little tufts is just like lumpy space princess. The bigger doll has way more detail in the hair sculpt. Otherwise, there's actually, I think there's less blemishes or imperfections on this head sculpt than there is on Rainy. So that's funny. The shoes, I think, are also comparable in terms of the sculpt. It doesn't have quite as many stitching designs, but I do like how well done the painting is for the colors of the laces. Now what weirds me out, and I just realized this, if you look at it from the back, the hands, it just look like she has hands. It looks like they're just nubs. Just nubs. It just like, if you look at it from the front, it's like, oh yeah, there's thumbs there. Cause there's thumbs there, but it's like if you got just like a green bean and cut a little slit in it and so that it comes up, it's funny. Also, it's not quite as flexible. It probably has the same amount of flexibility that the plastic in the other one has, but it's because it's shorter, it's harder to bend it. The legs are actually slightly more bendable than the previous one. That's funny. The heads just wobble around. It just goes. Can you pop the head off? Oh, yeah, you can. I'm not gonna do it. I think this one may be able to stand up on its own. Maybe. It may be able to stand up on its own. And then for Rainy, she has a tiny little poop dog. It's a little poop dog. I kind of wish I had two different dolls. Like, it felt weird not getting the sisters, but I kind of wish I had like Rainy Storm and then the little sister of someone else just to review it better. Realizing just how much of a carbon copy they are. They're really carbon copies of each other. But frankly, for a plain doll, this is pretty great. I like these. These are fun. I like the weight in my hands. They feel hefty and their quality is solid. I think LalaLoopsy was onto something. These are pretty good. That being said, I know a lot of you have a lot of nostalgia for the LalaLoopsy commercials. It's LalaLoopsy, it's LalaLoopsy, it's LalaLoopsy. I knew I was growing up because that was the first time I muted the commercials. It is the most annoying, my cat's playing with the terrace. That's on the floor. I think the LalaLoopsy commercials are the most annoying commercials in the world. It worked. It got stuck in everyone's head. Anyway, I have a newfound appreciation for LalaLoopsy dolls. I thought I would never like LalaLoopsy because of how annoying the commercials were. These are actually solid. I kind of like it. Tell me what you guys think of LalaLoopsy. Are you guys longtime fans of LalaLoopsy? Do these dolls just tickle something in your brain that just makes so much dopamine release whenever you see it that your brain implode with serotonin? Or were you like, ew, no, they're creepy, screw you? Never. Hopefully this video changed some minds. It definitely changed mine. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay beautiful and keep playing. She just fell, so maybe she can't stand up on her own. Maybe I can get them both sitting. Her feet splay out so much. No, okay, come on. No.